What is going on, my beautiful LARPers and LARPettes? Today, I'm going to show you how to become John Wick, or in my case, Juan Wick, because I'm part Hispanic. But anyways, I think this is just going to be a pretty fun video. Nothing too crazy serious. I'm just kind of daydreaming here if I was going to become an assassin and show you guys some of the EDC items that I would carry or how to get geared up to give that John Wick feeling, right? And this is going to be kind of a twofer because I wasn't sure what direction I wanted to take with this, but shotgun, right? You always got to have a shotgun. If you're going to try to be John Wick, you want to have some sort of 12 gauge. And the 12 gauges that I'm choosing are the Kel-Tec KSG. This is the KSG 12. And then I have another one here that I'm going to bring up. But let's start off with the KSG 12. So John Wick used this one here in John Wick 1. I believe it was towards the end when he was kind of blasting everybody through the cars and vehicles and stuff like that. The KSG 12 is essentially a full-size shotgun but with a compact package, right? So you still get your 18.5-inch length barrel because it's a bullpup. It's allowing you to have a very small package. And the cool thing about the KSG 12 is that it has two cylinders here at the bottom, which are your magazine tubes, and the magazine tubes allow you to have double the capacity on the KSG 12. So you can have, I believe it's around 14 rounds total. I believe you can have more than that with the mini shot shells. But I just love the fact that if I'm going to be running around with a shotgun, I'm able to have more rounds that I can use. And it's super simple to just switch from tube to tube. You can just flip that over. And switching from tube to tube is very unique in itself because I can go ahead and have one set or one type of ammo on one side and another type of ammo on this side. I didn't have an optic on mine, so it probably looks a little bit weird on video when I pulled it out there. I just got this gun the day before going out and filming. I was just super excited to get this gun out there and use it just because John Wick did use it in part 1. But I'm not going to be running it like that all the time. I'm going to slap an optic on there. But I was still able to hit things while I was out there. The shotgun that I would actually want on me at all times is this one right here, the Beretta 1301. Now, the Beretta 1301 you've seen on my page. If not, go ahead and check that out. I just did a review on it not too long ago, and it is one of my favorite semi-auto shotguns. The Beretta 1301 is not one that John Wick uses in any of his movies. He uses a Benelli M4 that's all Terran tacticaled out, and he also uses a Benelli M2. Nothing wrong with those shotguns. I just personally think this shotgun here will outcycle those shotguns, just from my experience. If you think I'm wrong, hopefully I can get a Benelli in here sometime soon and put them up to the test and do a versus video. But as of now, I would really go with this one over the Benellis. One day, hopefully, I can convince Terran to do a Terran Tactical Beretta 1301 because I would think that would be a very awesome shotgun. But overall, 1301 has a lot of cool features. It's extremely light, extremely fast cycling shotgun, and also it's extremely reliable in my experience. But enough of shotgun, guys. Let's go with the primary. Now, as my primary, and I know I'm kind of mixing this order up because I wouldn't really have a shotgun as a primary. I'd have a rifle as a primary, but as my primary rifle, it would be a PWS Mark 116. Now, in Hollywood, I don't think you're really going to go based off of primary and secondary. You're just going to go with whatever guns you could pick off of dead bodies, right? So this one would be the one that I would go into these hotels or into these nightclubs. For some reason, a lot of this stuff happens in nightclubs, and it seems like everybody in the nightclub doesn't really care that John Wick is just straight murdering people in the nightclub. There's nothing wrong with the DI gun that he's using in the movie, and he's using the majority of his guns that he's using in the movie is by Terran Tactical. But I would go with the PWS Mark 116 because it's a long stroke piston system. I don't have anything against DI guns, but I just feel like the long stroke piston system is just a little bit more reliable than DI guns. And I don't want to piss a lot of people off and get into logistics on all that, but I'll do a review on this gun here. I have around 15,000, maybe more rounds to this gun. And it's very gummed up and dirty and all that stuff, and it still runs super smooth. And maybe I can do a long stroke piston versus DI review or something like that. I would just go with this one because it's one of my favorite guns, basically. I'm not trying to shit on other rifles here. I'm just trying to show you what I would choose. But this gun here has a primary arms optic on there, and then I have like this little blast diverter there on the front of that by Strike Industries, and essentially everything else is stock on it. And I do have a Terran Tactical little base plate on that magazine well there. But overall, the PWS Mark 116 is a phenomenal rifle, and it's very sexy looking, but not as sexy as these next two coming up. Now, these next two you might have seen on my channel, but you definitely seen them on the John Wick movies because they are the guns that John Wick uses in the movies. But it is the Terran Tactical Sand Viper and the Terran Tactical Combat Master. Now, I'll get into the Sand Viper in a second, but the Combat Master 2011 here is the one used in John Wick 3.
I suggest the 2011 Combat Master in combination with the 9mm Major.
Now this 2011 here is made by Staccato, or formerly known as STI. At the time when this one was made made by STI, Staccato. And yeah, it's Terran Tactical branded STI Combat Master collaboration thing here. He does use Glocks, he does use like an HK, but up until part 3 when this one came out, I was like, oh man, that's a badass gun, I have to buy it. So I did. I bought this gun from STI at the time, and it's a phenomenal running gun, and it's a very smooth shooter. I love shooting this gun, but I'm trying not to shoot it as much because I want to keep it as a collector's piece. I have a lot of guns that I try to keep in pristine condition and as collector's items. And just recently he came out in John Wick 4 with the Pit Viper.
9mm Pit Viper, 21 round capacity magazine with a built-in compensator for virtually no muzzle flip, fiber optic front sight, ambidextrous safeties, flared magwell for faster reloads, 2-pound extreme trigger.
Now, the Pit Viper and the Sand Viper are basically the same exact gun. The one that they brought out was a black version of this. So the Pit Viper is a all black version, and it has iron sights with no optic cut. The only difference between this Sand Viper here and the Pit Viper is the fact that this one is brown and it has an optic cut with no option of iron sights. I like red dots on guns or optics on guns, so I went with this one here. But I'm probably still gonna pick up a Pit Viper just for collector's sake, right? Collectors, don't tell my wife. But the Sand Viper is an extremely, and I mean extremely fast shooting gun. With that compensator there, I'm able to make very, very fast follow-up shots. With this trigger, I'm able to get extremely fast splits. And it's just an overall badass looking gun. And if you're looking at it, one of the points on the movie was these two little points right there, and they're extremely sharp points. John Wick takes up, I don't want to ruin the movie if you haven't seen it, but basically this gun puts in some serious work in John Wick 4, and I'm able to put in some serious work in real life with it and have a ton of fun with this thing, guys. This is a very, very nice handgun. Now, I want you guys to help me out here because I'm kind of conflicted between the two. The Combat Master is still a very badass gun. The Pit Viper, or the Sand Viper here, is also a badass gun. I just went out and started dual wielding these two, or carried these two at the same time, because I couldn't really choose the two. I'm kind of leaning towards the Sand Viper, Pit Viper here, but I kind of feel bad leaving this one behind because this one did do some serious work in John Wick 3. So you guys decide, which one would you choose if you could only choose one here for your assassin EDC, right? So go ahead and leave a comment down below, and I'm interested to see what you guys would choose out of the two here. Now, next up on my John Wick EDC, this one hasn't really been in any of the John Wick movies, but it's still made by Terran Tactical. And I just wanted to bring this one into the video just because I think this is the most practical out of everything. If you're going to be wearing a suit, going to a wedding and stuff like that, not being an assassin, just basic simple attire, you want to have an actual EDC gun, and I would 100% carry this combat carry. So this is a SIG P365 that's been all Terran tacticaled out. Apologies for all that white stuff on there. That is actually from the face rack that I did on that rubber dummy there. That's all paint that I did when I did a whole tap rack on his face there. This gun I've actually carried for a year and a half, and it's been a very comfortable carry gun. And when I decided to switch my carry gun to the X Macro, I fluctuate between the X Macro and the Staccato CS. But this one here was my main squeeze for a while, and when I decided to stop, I sent it over to Terran, and he did his whole package on here, and it came out extremely nice. I do have the option of putting a red dot on there, but I don't have it on there right now. The only thing I really change about this is the grip is good, but it still has a little bit of overhang there, so I would go probably with the X Macro grip, which is a little bit bigger. I'm able to still swap this slide to the X Macro grip and just put a 17 round that they come with there. But practicality wise, this combat carry here would be extremely nice fitting in this suit here, especially since this is a nice tight fitting suit. But another thing to carry as a John Wick LARPer or a assassin would be a OTF knife of some sort, right? This is a SOG Pentagon OTF. It's really cool to fidget around with this thing. Hopefully I didn't know you guys with that, but OTF is the iconic John Wick knife of choice, right? I believe in the movies he uses a Microtech OTF knife or OTF style. I don't know what the Microtechs are called, but this one here is a very beefy knife. I felt I was able to get a very good grip when I was stabbing the rubber dummies with this thing. I didn't feel any slippage whatsoever, but a good OTF knife would definitely have you giving off those assassin John Wick vibes. Now, basically, I went over everything that I think that as an assassin I would kind of try to carry on my person. This would be a lot. I mean, what is it, like 6 guns? But I mean, in Hollywood you can have like 100 guns, and especially in video games you have like 50 guns on your person at all times, right, that you can swap out to. These are basically some of the guns that I thought would be cool to having this video, and super fun to show off some of the Terran guns that I own. But he does use quite a bit of guns in the movie. I mean, he still uses, like, you see an MPX behind me. This is the MPX 16-inch competition version. He uses a MPX Terran tactical version, so it's essentially that same exact gun there, but all Terran tactical out. I don't really think that I would go with a PCC for assassin duties, right? I think that carrying a 16-inch rifle would be more effective than a 9mm PCC, but that's just my opinion. But the last thing I want to talk about is one of the best things, is the suit. You cannot be John Wick or an assassin without a suit. The suit is what's going to make it or break it. You don't want to be some, you don't want to look like a hobo, right? Or do you want to look like a hobo? It's like being a gray man, right? You get all tactical geared out. People are going to know you have a gun, but you don't have tactical gear, so they won't even think twice. But anyways, the suit, I think, is what makes you look very professional in terms of whatever type of business you're doing, right? You don't really have to be John Wick or an assassin to wear a suit. It just makes you look more presentable, more professional in a way where you can say, hey, that guy, whatever he's talking about, he knows what he's talking about. But anyways, this suit was made by Brimble & Clark, and it was especially made for me. Custom fitted and all that, and it was a huge inspiration on making this video. Actually, this is the reason why I wanted to make this video. When I got this suit, I was like, I got to make a John Wick type video for this. Brimble & Clark is they make very high-end and quality suits. They're very tailored towards wanting to make a tactical style suit that's presentable. A lot of the suits that you see out there that are considered like tactical or something like that, they don't look like a normal suit. Like, you get ones that are ballistic rated and they're kind of square and blocky looking. They don't look appealing. This one, unfortunately, isn't ballistic rated. I think that's going to be a big headache to get some sort of ballistic rated material on this with it looking super presentable. But the way they are going about these here, they call them ballistic suits, I think. I have to look back at their website again, but they're not ballistic. They consider them to be more of a stretchier fabric. So I was able to go out there and do some pretty cool kicks and jumping around and stabbing, and I was trying to basically feature all the stuff that they're trying to explain to people that their suits are capable of doing. I went out there and knelt in rocks and stuff like that, and I had no tears. This is the same suit here. I just had it cleaned. It worked perfectly fine while I was out there, and it's, again, very breathable. I was out there and it was actually like 90 degrees and I wasn't sweating at all. I felt perfectly fine in this suit. And on a serious note, I think somebody that's in a professional industry that you do have to carry some sort of firearm or something like that should really consider getting a very nice suit that's stretchable like this, because I guess for review's sake, this did work very well with whatever I was doing. I don't think somebody would be doing something that crazy, but I think that for the purpose of getting out and having a comfortable presentation with the rifle, shotgun, or pistols that I was using, it felt very, very nice. Now, aside from the functional and durable fabric, you do have another feature on here, which is right underneath the collars here. You do have blades. Now, these blades are very cool because they are hitting right underneath your collars here. These are steel blades, but they also make some that are, I think, carbon fiber or some sort of ceramic material that can go undetected, I guess. But that's a really cool feature to have on a suit. I've never really seen a suit that has blades built into it. And aside from that, obviously in John Wick, they all have these ballistic suits that stop bullets. I would love to have that feature on here, but I'm not sure if they're able to do that. Other than that, I would just basically wear some very thin body armor underneath this. But anyways, guys, hopefully I didn't ramble on too much. It was a very fun video to make for you, and I really loved that I was able to utilize this suit with all this stuff and just show you guys some cool things pertaining to John Wick, because I think John Wick is so far my favorite movie series that have been coming out. Now, is John Wick getting a little bit too much now with all the movies? Now we're on part 4. Is there going to be a part 5? Probably. Is it becoming like Fast and the Furious where it's like getting too ridiculous, or is it like, yeah, if it's John Wick, I'll watch it? And that's kind of how I feel. If it's John Wick, I'll probably watch it. But anyways, thank you guys so much for sticking around. Have a great Father's Day. And for those of you that aren't fathers out there, have a great day as well. I love you all. Appreciate you. Catch you in the next one.